This is Michael Bourgeois with Next Level Contractor. I'm here with Kat Dunn, who owns and operates Unified Roofing and Construction out of Port Charlotte, Florida. And they also have an office in Sunrise, Florida. Is that right, Kat?
Yep, that's
Very
right.
cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us here today. We have a lot of questions well, I'm not exactly sure where all they came from, but we have a lot of questions that people want to know the answers to. As you're already aware, our channel, our podcast here is to assist new contractors in their journey from day one or even pre-license to making it through that time period of starting a business where so often people become a statistic, right? They say
Right.
the first 2 years is going to make or break it. So this is that sort of day 1 to 2 year mark, trying to help contractors that are getting started in business. So thank you so much for taking the time out today.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Well, I know you're busy, so we'll just get right into it.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. So the first question is, uh, how do you get a contractor's license quickly and efficiently? Right? You've heard stories about people taking,
Years.
years, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, Florida, it's difficult. It's not easy to get one. There's a lot of things involved. First and foremost, you need the experience. There's a couple of tiers of that experience. You can, if you have military experience or if you have a college degree, you can have 1 year of superintendent slash project management experience, and then, but that experience has to be under um, I'm a roofer. It would have to be under a licensed roofer, right? Now, if you don't have a bachelor's degree, if you don't have that military experience, then you would have to have 4 years. Three of those years have as labor, and then one as a superintendent slash project manager. So you have to have that. That experience is a must, and it has to be under a licensed, in my case, roofer, or depending on whatever type of contracting license you're going for. On top of that, you have to take two. As a roofer, I took two tests. I took the business and finance, and then I took the roofing trade exam. So you have to get a 70% on both or above. I think it evens out to like you're able to miss about 30 questions, which sounds like a lot, but when you're doing those tests and second guessing yourself, it that number is not as high as we wish it could be. But so yeah, so those two things, you have to have a clean background. You have to fill out your applications. You have to get the proper insurance, and then you submit everything through the DVPR, cross your fingers, and hope that your license comes through.
Hope you crossed
you
all the
know,
T's and dotted all the I's, right?
yeah, exactly. Now, I mean, as far as, I would say the maybe not most difficult part, but one of the most difficult part is through the testing. The experience is the experience, right? Like if you have the experience and you like the industry that you're in enough, then the experience, it's your job, right? Everybody has a job.
Of
It's the
course.
tests that are the tests that can be tough. And if you want to get it done quickly and efficiently, you definitely will, need some help. I went through one exam prep. The instructors are great. There was one for business and finance, and then obviously one for roofing. They both have these patented systems that they are able to use and help you not so much, memorize the material, but like learn, what keywords to use from the test and to be able to find in the books. So made it so much easier. I think I did one tutoring session from each instructor. And yeah, I mean, I passed both on the first go around, and I don't think I would have done that without the help of one exam and the instructors. So yeah, I mean, I got my books in November, and then I had my license in May. So I passed my exams. I passed my first exam in December. So about 6 weeks after I got my business and finance books. And then I passed my roofing exam in February. So yeah, by March I had submitted my application. So 4 months I had passed the exams. I, kind of pat myself on the back for that because it was difficult. But if you apply yourself and you really listen to the instructors and their way of doing things, it's easy peasy.
4 months. That's quick.
Yeah,
I know guys that spent a decade trying to get their license,
yeah,
taking the test
yeah,
again and again and again.
yeah, yeah,
So class
yeah.
helps, huh? Tutoring
Thank,
helps.
thank you. One exam.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, One Exam Prep's a great company.
yeah,
Yeah, I try not to do anything for the first time without coaching, right? Some
yeah.
mentorship, somebody to tell me what to do. I even have socks that say R and L on them for right and left foot. Just makes it
I go.
easy. Don't have to think about it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's
So
very
yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah. It
All
was,
right.
I mean, it was a definitely an experience. I mean, it was lots of late nights, practice test after test after practice test. But no, I mean, it turned out great. So yeah, I'm grateful.
Very. I think One Exam Prep has application assistance too. Did you use
Yep.
that or?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Oh, so
Yeah.
you had somebody else process your application for you?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's again, like you have to, if you're doing it yourself and you've never done it, it's the difference of getting your license within, let's say 6 weeks, depending on how busy the DVPR is, getting your license in 6 weeks versus like 6 months to a year. Because all those deficiencies that can come back when if you try to do your own application, stupid little stuff like, instead of writing manager, you put MGR, like no, they'll kick it back. It's just everything
Does that
has
put
to
you at the
line
back of
up.
the line, you think?
Yes,
So
every
every
time you get
mistake,
a deficiency, yes, they will send you a letter. You have to address it, send it, fax it back, upload it, whatever you need to do, and then they put you at the bottom of the pile. And then if they find something else wrong, it's the same process. I
oh,
mean,
so so
yeah,
they don't find all the mistakes and tell you about all the mistakes at one time so you can correct it all. They find one mistake, then they stop. They tell you about it, put you in the back of the line, you fix it, and then you submit it. And if they find another mistake, they stop, put you in the back of the line, tell you about it. Is that how that goes?
exactly. And then not just that, I mean, they say they try to find all of the mistakes on the first go around, but the really frustrating part is, let's say, because with your application, you have to submit your credit report, right? And the credit report has to be within the last 6 months. So if they find a deficiency for something else, kick it back, and it takes them, whatever, a month
Mm.
to get to it, and then all of a sudden now your credit report is expired because it was on time when you first submitted it, but now by the time they've gotten to the second or third deficiency, it's expired. So now there's another deficiency. So yeah, the applications department at One Exam is huge. I mean, it really does make a difference of beginning to work, in less than 2 months versus, hopefully, yes, less than a year if you're trying to do it yourself.
You mentioned tutoring. So you said you had a tutoring session from
I
each
I
class.
did. Yep. So with Faye from Business and Finance, she's the one that had invented this patented system about, and she's very fast and she's very good. You have to take a couple of the classes before you can kind of catch up. Um, one thing she actually starts with on every class is, if this is your first class, don't expect to keep up with me. It's going to take a couple of times, but if you're patient and you just do as well as you can. But yeah, I mean, I took the business and finance exam 6 weeks after I started her classes, and I took one tutoring session with her just to kind of brush up before I had the exam, and it did wonders. Same with Andrea for the roofing. I mean, I did I think I did two tutoring lessons with Andrea for the roofing portion. And they're great. I mean, it's really worth it. And it doesn't cost a lot. I think it's like $250 or something. It's well worth it in order to pass that exam on the first go
On the
around.
first try, right?
Yeah.
And in a
Yeah,
timely manner, I'm sure. Do you feel
exactly.
like having the tutoring, you were able to uh, take the exam faster than had you just gone through the classes sort of slowly week by
Oh,
week?
absolutely. As and like, most people who are going through a contractor school, or just even getting their contractor's license, right? They have full-time jobs. Maybe sometimes they can't go to class all day or half a day on Wednesday or Mondays. So if you miss, I remember, like, I think I had to miss 2 weeks in a row because I was working. So that tutoring will make up for that, and then some, right? So it really does make a difference. I don't think I would have passed, and I think I would have passed had I done the full 12 weeks without the tutoring, because the classes for each are 12 weeks long. But instead I kind of supplemented it with the tutoring, which helped me pass, quickly
Just to
and
push it through
efficiently.
faster. Right, because what's
Exactly.
another couple of months? It could mean the difference between you paying a qualifier for another couple of months or not paying a qualifier for another couple of months. So I guess it just depends on
Exactly.
the situation.
Yep.
If you need it fast, go to class, get some tutoring.
100%.
If you could take your
Yep.
time, just class.
Yeah. Exactly. So,
Got it.
and I mean, most people want to get there. I know I wanted to get it as quickly as possible. I was definitely more nervous for the roofing portion, which was ironic because I ended up doing better on the roofing portion than I did the business and finance. But no, it all worked out.
I took that business and finance exam myself. It was a
Yeah.
doozy.
It's no joke.
Ooh,
It's
yeah.
no joke.
What was it, 6 hours long?
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
flew by. It
Yeah.
flew by.
Oh, I took the whole time. The whole
Oh,
time I took.
same. I had a couple unanswered ones. Fortunately, I passed, thankfully.
Yay.
Anyways, yay. Uh, so, well, thank you. That was extremely informative. So if you want to get your contractors, so to answer that question, if you want to get your contractor's license quickly and efficiently, uh, find some help.
Yes,
Absolutely.
definitely.
In a
Definitely.
nutshell, and the name of the company you used was One Exam Prep.
Yep. One exam prep. They
All
were,
right.
yeah, they were awesome.
Yeah. I know them. They are awesome. Uh, let's see here. So, I have a question about running the business. After you get your license, uh, or well, someone has this question anyway. We have a question for you regarding running the business, and it's how do you manage cash flow and avoid running out of money? That's a huge one for startups. How do you manage the cash flow? How do you not run out of money?
So I think that a lot of contractors make the mistake of kind of letting these bills pile up. And instead of, it's very simple. Like, you just break it down. If you do it a job at a time, you get a job, right? You know what your labor costs are going to be. You know what your material costs are going to be. You have the permit fees, a dumpster, maybe some extra plywood. I'm talking in roofing terms. But once a job is finished and you collect that final check, the first thing you do is you pay that supplier bill right away. You pay your labor right away. Your dumpster gets all your bills are paid, and then whatever money's left over, that gets put in the bank. That's what you save. And then the same keep I mean, I truly believe no matter how big you get, no matter how many jobs you're doing a week, if you stick to kind of that methodology, then you won't run out of money, right? I mean, you'll know what your expenses are. You'll know you can pay them. I think contractors make the mistake when they see all this money in the bank and they're like, oh, we can go on a hiring spree, or we can, go buy a bunch of trucks or whatever the case may be, right? I think if you stick to, looking at everything on a job per job basis, I think, you'll be good.
This episode of Next Level Contractor is sponsored by One Exam Prep, America's leading contractor test prep school. With over 1,000 licensing programs available nationwide, One Exam Prep makes getting your contractor's license easier than ever. Join over 100,000 contractors who have been assisted by One Exam Prep. Get started today by visiting www.oneexamprep.com or calling 1-877-775-9400. Being responsible with your finances is what I heard.
Simplicity.
I
It's
was
not,
hoping there was some kind of
rocket science.
secret to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. Nope, that's it. I mean, just watch your spending because, I mean, like after a hurricane, right? As a roofer in Florida, we all know that a hurricane hits and we are going to get a lot of business. But you have to look at times like that as kind of like a Christmas bonus, right? I mean, it's something that, yeah, it definitely helps the revenue and i.e. the profit, but it's a Christmas bonus. It's not every day, right? You still have to build a business without depending on hurricanes coming in. And I think that a lot of roofing companies, specifically roofing companies, will start up after a hurricane, make all this money and think that, oh, this is that we can do this. We can go big. They get a huge office and staff it with 25 people. And then as soon as that hurricane rush dies, you see this company's going out of business and this company's going out of business. It's just keep it small, do what you can. Don't get too big or too, don't take on more than you can handle. I know it's not, rocket science. And if you probably wanted to hear something a little bit more in depth, but it's really simple.
It sounds that way.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds simple. Everything sounds simple, right? That's
Right.
always a little more
True.
challenging in real world application. So the hurricane thing, I guess that's probably just going to apply to the southeastern United States, Florida a lot. So yeah, I know every roofer in Florida is just quietly always hoping for a hurricane. Uh, you
Oh,
know, or
yeah.
maybe not so quietly. Maybe it's pretty public. Come on, not a bad one, just
Not a bad one.
enough
Exactly.
to rip the shingles off the house,
Right.
but not enough to make the power go out.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
just
Maybe
give me a
not
category
flood.
two.
Yeah.
Yeah, just give me like a big category two.
Yeah.
Maybe like a small three. That's it though. No,
Yeah. And then
yeah.
be careful what you wish for, right? Right. Because then, I remember when Ian hit, I mean, we didn't have power for 2 weeks. It was, it was crazy. So
Oh yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
got to dial it back a little bit. Like maybe
Yeah.
big three's too big. No, just
There you go.
maybe a really wide one or like a
Yeah.
strong two, a weak
Yeah.
three. Yeah, something
There
like
you
that.
go. There you go.
That's the sweet spot. Um,
Mm-hmm.
all right. Well, yeah, so that's our, I think we all feel bad about it, but every contractor in Florida's got their fingers crossed every storm season. Just one's all we need. Um,
Exactly. Small one.
exactly. Just one small one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's good advice. Uh, One thing that sort of prompted a question just in my mind. I know that starting out, a lot of new contractors are probably going from working for someone else, collecting a paycheck, to now suddenly they're in the world of business ownership. And you mentioned reinvesting whatever's left over into the company. Is there is there a strategy for surviving financially on the personal side for these new business owners? Is there a recommendation there?
I think if you you still I think a lot of people make the mistake of, going from employee to owner, and that means that they think that means that they can completely have a different type of lifestyle, right? I mean, nothing has changed for me since, and I've been an employee a lot longer than I've been a business owner. I feel like if you keep that same mindset, and not just with, not just financially, but just in every kind of aspect of, your professional life. I run this business, I lead my employees, keeping in mind that, I was an employee, and I know what I wanted to hear, and I know what was good for me as an employee. Things that would motivate me, or things that would, make me want to work harder. And a lot of that I apply to how I run this business. And the same goes, to answer your question, the same goes financially. Like, not, I haven't really changed anything about the way I live. Same house, same budget, same cars. Nothing has changed in that way. I think if you just stay humble and, hope for the best, but don't expect anything crazy, I think, you stay level headed, and that's all you need.
Sound advice, I'm sure. How long has Unified Roofing and Construction been established?
We have been in business about a year and a half.
About a year and a half.
Yep.
All right. So
Yeah.
you're through the scary part.
Yep. Yep. And it
Very
was
cool.
scary. It's always scary. It's scary. It's then of course you, in your mind, you're thinking like, oh, what if this doesn't work? And you just try everything, right? Everything that is positive, legal, ethical, you try everything and hope that something sticks. You make a million relationships and hope that 10 of those will work out, and you just keep trucking.
Well, thank you. Um, so next question, what are the best tools for managing construction projects? Software, hardware?
Yeah.
You got any tips?
I have I swear by AccuLynx as a CRM. I have used AccuLynx. I've used a lot of different CRMs. I've used Monday. I use Job Nimbus. I've used RoofLink. But I always go back to AccuLynx. I love it. It's so user
Hey,
friendly.
Kat,
Oh, go
just
ahead.
for the folks that are still are pen and paper people,
Yeah,
CRM would be a customer relations management software. That's what CRM
correct.
stands for.
Yeah, like a
Okay,
customer database. Yeah. And yeah, so it's very user friendly. It's so, all, it's very much set up for roofing specifically, but you can absolutely use it for construction. We use it for construction right now. It's has document folders that you can label with, permitting paperwork or notice of approvals. So I would always recommend using AccuLynx. It's,
did AccuLynx pay
pretty,
you to say that?
they didn't. I should ask though, right? No.
Is it AccuLynx with an X at the end or is it Lynx
It's
KS?
no, it's with an X. ACCULYNX.
Got it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's cool because they have a lot of like apps that you can that are either free, or you can buy, that are within it. Like, it connects to Eagle View, which, as a roofer, everybody knows what
Good old
Eagle
Eagle
View,
View.
or doesn't connect with Roofar yet. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. But it also has the, not DocuSign, but like an e-sign app that you can send customers estimates to sign. Anyway, so we do everything in AccuLynx. Ironically, we don't use Eagle View. We use Roofar. But you know,
But if you wanted
whatever.
to, yeah, if you wanted to
Exactly.
use Eagle View, it would be an option. That's good to
Every
know.
now and then, when I want to measure gutters, I'll pull an Eagle View. But for the most part, we use Roofar.
So definitely a CRM.
Yep.
Definitely use a CRM. Okay, that's a good
Oh,
recommendation, I'm sure.
absolutely.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yep.
Software. Okay.
Software.
So for all the non-tech savvy, it would pay to get tech savvy, at least a little bit anyway.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it gets to a point, even when you're starting, where it's going to be too much to just have paper everything. And spreadsheets can get, to be too much. You have one place any CRM that you like. It doesn't have to be AccuLinks, but you have one place to store everything between your estimates, your permitting paperwork, your NOCs, like everything can be stored, and it just makes it easy. You click the customer's name and you jump in, and there's everything you need. So it
Mm.
definitely keeps things organized.
Cool. Thank you. Um,
Yeah.
Next question. What are the best ways to network and build industry relationships?
So I'm really big on getting out into the community and going to different events. Not, definitely, construction and roofing associations,
Hmm.
but kind of go outside the box with that because you run into a lot of other people or other roofers or other GCs, right? You want to kind of go somewhere else where there's other people, but maybe realtors. I go to Chamber of Commerce events around my community. I go on, I'm in Charlotte County, so I'll go on the Charlotte County website and, they'll post all the different events. Maybe it's happy hour, maybe it's breakfast. I like Punta Gorda had a holiday event last month that I went to. Um, I get out. I even every now and then I'll go out and just go into some realtors' offices and introduce myself with a business card. I mean, I do get business that way. They will call and, hey, I got this house that I have a client that needs built, and so you never know. Relationships are everything. I mean, if you I understand that like a lot of times you have to sit behind your computer and you have to get this done and talk to this person, and you think that a lot of the work comes from sitting behind a desk or even being on a job site, but really it's really about building relationships. Business development, especially in a competitive industry like roofing and construction, is huge and it's absolutely needed. So
I bet it is. So feet on the street, huh? To just
yep,
make an effort to network, meet as many people as you can.
absolutely.
All right. You are a wealth of information. If you have time for a couple more questions,
Yeah.
I'll try to be quick. Uh, so how can a person transition? This is, I guess, to do with mindset, personal development. How can a person transition from that worker mindset to the business owner mindset? They went from, managing the project themselves or doing the work themselves for that trade experience to, being an employee for so long, and now business owner mindset completely different. How do you transition from that?
You have to have a good team, whether it's one person, five people, 10 people, 25 people. You are only as good as your team. You have to learn how to let go a little bit. Some of us are better than others about that. But you really have to have a good team. If you have a good team and everybody knows their jobs and what they're supposed to do, it all can come together beautifully. And I'm lucky. I have a great team. I have a great permitting team. I have great project managers. And it's, believe me, it hasn't been, so easy getting there, but if you hire the right people or find the right people to support you, it's a lot easier to run your business when you don't feel like you're having to do everything.
So, what skills do you need to build a strong team?
Hmm. So you really have to sorry, my phone. You really have to I feel like you have to be able to read people well. And I mean, not everybody has that talent. And, I feel like I do. But when I interview people, loyalty is huge, experience is huge, and personality is huge. Um, you know, some may say that maybe some of those things are, one of those things don't have to do with work, but I do feel like if you possess those qualities, it makes for a very good team. When people feel like they are a part of something and when they all get along. And I understand like not everybody's going to get along at all times, but yeah, I mean, I yeah, that's all. I
So
just have
look
a
for
good
people that
team.
get along, huh?
Yeah. It
So
really, again, it seems so silly, but it really does help.
it seems silly, simple. I don't know about silly. It seems simple, but
Yeah.
wise. So
Yeah.
how do you handle stress and avoid burnout as a business owner, especially getting started?
Yeah. Um, I think that if you stay, you definitely have to have that work-life balance. Now, I say that, and it's a lot easier said than done. You have to keep doing the things that you're doing outside of work, whether it's working out. I personally, I have 4 kids. 3 of them are competitive soccer players. So my life is work and soccer. And I mean, that's what I spend my weekends doing. And that's what I absolutely love doing outside of work. It's very difficult when you love your job so much to say, oh, I need to do something out of work, right? I need to have that work life balance because a lot of people feel, especially if you love your job, that this is a great work life. If I work 24/7, I love my job. I'm doing it. But you really do have to take a step back every once in a while, focus on your family, on the other things that you love to do. Again, for me, that's spending time with my kids, watching them play soccer. So yeah,
Cool.
stay
So
grounded.
keep doing the things that you love to do. Um,
Exactly.
so what are the or that you have to do outside of work, I guess.
Yeah.
What are the secrets to building long-term client relationships?
Keep them happy. Keep them happy, which I know again sounds obvious, but so many things can go wrong. And so you have so many different aspects to roofing and construction. So really, really staying in communication with your client from from the first point of contact all the way through till final inspection, right? I mean, if you stay in contact with them, even if something goes wrong, maybe it rains one day, you can't help that, or maybe your project manager got in a car accident and didn't get there in time. Communication is key. If you are constantly updating your client, hey, this is going on. Hey, he's going to be an hour late. He ran into some traffic, whatever the case may be. If you stay in contact with these clients and then they know that you give a crap, right? Then they know that you care. I think that that is kind of what's missing right now is it's almost like I feel like customers feel like they're just another number. Contractors, they go in and out. And I really do believe in making sure that they feel comfortable because roofing, getting a new roof or, remodeling your house, that's a lot of money. Some people, it's maybe their retirement, they're dipping into their retirement fund or so, making sure you do a really good job, fix whatever any issues that may come up, whether it's with the actual work or with maybe it's a people problem. Like I said, lots of things can come up. I think if you stay in communication with your client and you make sure that you can do as anything you can to make them happy within reason, then you're good.
That's interesting you say that. I find that when something goes wrong, especially, you almost need to double the communication with that client. Whereas a lot of contractors and companies, if they have an upset client, they'll do everything to avoid communication with that client,
Yep.
which just makes them more upset and more angry. Even if your plan is to fix it, they're still angry because no one's communicating that to them.
Yep.
So if you're communicating, once a day with a happy client, then it probably needs to be twice a day with an upset client until the
Yep.
issue is resolved. I,
Absolutely. And it
I've
really does
I've
make all
seen
the
that in real
difference.
world. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's for sure. Yeah, no, I know that's the truth. How about one more question, Kat? Do you mind?
Yeah.
All
No, of
right.
course. Go ahead.
Um, so how does a person find a mentor? How does a person find the right mentor to help their business grow?
So it's funny. So when I was just talking before about how I go into realtors' offices, I leave my
Hmm.
business card. I actually, the person who told me about that was this guy from this roofer, from Texas. He was on masterclass. And if it is pricey, but even if you just book these 15-minute sessions, I think they're like, I don't know, $100 or something. That's a way to start. They make all the difference. If you don't have anybody in your life that you feel like you can go to, maybe a contractor who's been in the industry for longer. But again, there's other options. There's, like I said, this master class. And then again, if you go to these events, you'll meet other contractors. And they're also out there looking for relationships. I can't tell you how many other contractors, roofers I've met at, events, CASF events, any building association events who do want to help. Like they do want to, give you their 2 cents, and it's not all about like who's going to get this roof or who's going to get this job. Like there is some sort of camaraderie in the construction industry, that, it's out there. So yeah, of
Well, thank you for that, Kat. Thank you for being here
course.
once again.
Yeah.
We are thanks everybody for watching and listening. Again, this is Michael Bourgeois with Next Level Contractor, and today we had the pleasure of interviewing Kat Dunn from Unified Roofing and Construction out of Port Charlotte, Florida. So, thank you so much, Kat, and to everybody watching
Thank
and listening
you.
out there. If you found this information helpful, if you enjoyed today's podcast, be sure to like and subscribe, and we will see you next time. Thanks a lot.